program. So in the last couple of weeks, we were discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, various chapters starting from chapter 5. We were discussing about the topic about the creation. So in chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, we discussed about how Lord Vishnu created all the variety of universes by creating 24 elements and by combining them, etc. Eventually, the same Mahavishnu entering into each and every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu created water in the lower portion of the universe, and as he reclined within the water to take rest, from his navel there appears a beautiful lotus flower. The same Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, as he expands himself as Kshuradakshaya Vishnu, and as soon as he enters into that lotus, which is made up of 24 material elements, Lord Brahma appears on the top, and with a desire to understand from where this lotus is appearing, he tried according to his own means to the best of his ability. Even after trying for 100 years, he could not find the source of the lotus. Then he understood that he need to perform tapasya. Then he performed tapasya for another 100 years. Then, as a result of this tapasya and intense meditation upon Lord's lotus feet, he had the beautiful darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then he offered wonderful prayers unto the lotus feet of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And as requested by Lord Brahma, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu empowers him to do the further creation. Then with that empowerment, he again performs austerities for 100 celestial years. Then with that empowerment and with that tapasya, with that austerities, with that bhakti, he understands what to do. Everything will be revealed. Everything is revealed within his heart. So with that understanding, he first cuts the lotus into 14 divisions, 3 divisions, and then eventually 14 divisions with various subdivisions and further divisions, etc., etc. And then he begins to create the living entities in the universe. So he creates initially the plants and different variety of immovable living entities. Then he creates unlimited variety of animals grouped in 28 categories. And then he creates human beings. Then he creates 8 variety of superhuman beings, which includes the Devatas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, and also Asuras, Yaksha Rakshasas, Bhuta Pirta Pichashas, Pitrus and Tadyas, like that. 8 variety of superhuman beings were created by Brahma. Then, since Vidura asked a question about time in the previous chapter, 10th chapter, so in order to answer that, in the 11th chapter, Maitreya is talking about different divisions of time, starting from the minutest division of the time to the greatest division of the time. So in order to describe the division of time, first Maitreya talks about the division of matter. So he actually talks about the division of matter in order to explain the division of time, because time on itself cannot be explained just like that. So it need to be explained in relation to something. So first he talks about the smallest indivisible particle, which is called as Paramanu. Charama Sad Visheshanam. That matter which has got all the attributes and qualities, the smallest particle or the indivisible particle is called as Paramanu. And like that, the entire universe is filled with unlimited number of Paramanus. By the combination of all the Paramanus that will exist in the entire creation, whatever manifests, that is called as Parama Mahan, the greatest aggregate of the matter, the aggregate of all the atoms, the greatest of matter in the entire universe, that is called Parama Mahan. So just like matter can be divided into smallest indivisible particle to the greatest particle, the aggregate of everything that is there in the entire universe. Similarly, time also can be divided in relation to these two elements and in between. The time required for the sun to pass through the width of a Paramanu, it is called as Paramanu time. And time required for the sun to pass through the gigantic aggregate of matter, starting from the point of creation to the point of annihilation, that is called greater time or the Param Mahan time. This Param Mahan time is nothing but the lifespan of Lord Brahma. The smallest indivisible time is Paramanu time, the time required for the sun to pass through a Paramanu, or the time required for the sun to pass through the distance which can be occupied by a Paramanu. And the greatest time, that is the time spent by the sun from the time of creation to the time of annihilation. That is the time span of the entire creation. That is nothing but the time span of Lord Brahma's lifetime. That is 100 years according to Lord Brahma's calculations. So now in the entire chapter, Maitreya will explain in qualitatively the way we can estimate, the way we can understand what is Paramanu time and what will be the Param Mahan time, the greater time. So in order to explain Paramanu time, he will explain the perceivable material element. Paramanu is indivisible and also invisible. But when we combine two Paramanus, that is called as one Anu. When we combine three Anus or six Paramanus, that is called as one Trasarenu. Trasarenu can be seen in the summer season or in the daytime when the sunlight is passing through a window, comes into our room, and we are sitting in a dark place in the other area where sunlight is not coming, in the sense where sunlight is directly not coming. When we look into the window, in the window we see so many dust particles are moving in the air here and there. That dust particle which can be visible to our eye under sunlight which is passing through the window, it is called as Trasarenu. So since Trasarenu is visible, Trasarenu can be understood. So we can also understand the division, the components combining which the Trasarenu is formed. Trasarenu is nothing but the combination of three Anus. If Trasarenu is there, that means three Anus are there. And if three Anus are there, that means six Paramanus are there. Though we may not be able to see the Paramanus and Anus as they are with our naked eye, but we can see their combination. Six Paramanus or three Anus in the form of a Trasarenu in the lattice of a window. So whatever time required for the sun to pass through this Trasarenu, the width of the Trasarenu, that time is called 1 Truti. So 1 Truti is equal to 8 by 13,500 seconds. So we generally understand hours, minutes and seconds. So in terms of that, here the time of Truti is mentioned here. 1 Truti is equal to 8 by 13,500 seconds, or 1 by 60 was 1687.5 seconds. It is like 1 by 1.6 milliseconds. 0.6 milliseconds approximately it will be. So that is called 1 Truti. And 1 Veda is equal to 100 Trutis. 100 Trutis is equal to 1 Veda, as multiplying that 100. And 3 Vedas is equal to 1 Lava. Tulayama Lavenapi Na Swargam Na Punarbhavam. Bhagavatam first canto talks about that. Even if we associate with a great devotee, even for the time of a lava, the smallest time period, that is equal to 8 by 45 seconds. 8 by 45 seconds is almost equal to 1 by 5.2 seconds. That much time, if we associate with a great soul, our life can be changed in that sense. And 3 lavas is equal to 1 nimisha, that is 8 by 15 seconds. It is almost half second. The 1 nimisha is the time required for the eyelid to close or open. one way, that is called 1 nimisha, and 3 nimishas is equal to 1 kashta, that is 8 by 5, that is 1.6 seconds, and 5 kashtas, sorry, 1 kshana is equal to 3 nimishas, that is 1 kshana, kshanam api, kshanam, we always hear many times, that is equal to 1.6 seconds, and 5 kshanas is equal to 1 kashta, that is equal to 8 seconds. 1 kashta is 8 seconds, and 1 lagu is equal to 15 kashtas. 15 kashtas is 1 lagu, that is equal to 2 minutes or 120 seconds, and 15 such lagus, that is 30 minutes, is called as 1 nadika or 1 danda, and 1 muhurta is approximately about 2 nadikas or 2 dandas. Generally it is 48 minutes 1 muhurta is equal to, but sometimes some people say that it is also equal to 60 minutes or 1 hour, something like that. And 6 or 7 dandas is equal to 1 yama or 1 prahara, so which is equal to 3 hours. So basically there are 8 praharas in a complete day, and 4 praharas in the daytime and 4 praharas in the night time. Under a normal day, which is equal to 12 hours daytime and 12 hours night time, there are 4 equal praharas in the daytime, 4 equal praharas in the night time. Each prahara would be equal to 3 hours. 3 times 4 is equal to 12 hours in the daytime, 12 hours in the night time. But during summer, our daytime is little more than 12 hours. It could be up to 14 hours. So that time, 1 prahara will be 7 dandas, that is equal to 3.5 hours. So 1 prahara is 3.5 hours. The 4 praharas of daytime will be 14 hours. And during month of January or at the end of December, during winter, the night time will be more. The night time can be almost as 14 hours. That time also there can be 7 dandas in 1 prahara in the night time. So 4 praharas of the night time, each prahara which is equal to 3.5 hours would be 14 hours. Like that, 6 to 7 dandas approximately according to the time, place, circumstances, etc. that is being mentioned. And 1 honey or 1 day or 1 night, 1 honey or 1 day basically, that is equal to 4 praharas or 4 yamas, that is equal to 12 hours. Even in Bhagavad Gita, I think in the 17th chapter, when it is being spoken in terms of prasadam, yataramam yatayamam gatarasam pushi paryushyatam. So in while describing the food in the mode of ignorance, it is mentioned that yatayamam gatarasam, that food which has been prepared 1 yama before 1 yama time, that means before 3 hours, is not good for eating, because the food either gets cooled or it gets decomposed or something like that. Sometimes some of the foodstuffs, they should be eaten when they are warm or when they are hot. It is good for health if the food is eaten when it is warm only, when it is hot or warm. So just generally it said that if the food is very cold, that means it is already past 3 hours time, that is yata yamam. So in that way, that yama is comes in the Bhagavad Gita also. So then 4 such praharas or 4 such yamas makes 1 day or 1 night. 1 day is called 1 ahani, 1 night is called 1 ratri. Ahani, aho ratri, generally it is called as like that. And 15 such combinations of days, I mean combination of ahoratri, day and night time, 15 days plus 15 nights, is called as 1 fortnight or 1 paksha. We have 2 pakshas, Shukla paksha and Krishna paksha. This is equal to half the month or 1 fortnight. And 2 such fortnights, Shukla paksha and Krishna paksha, white fortnight and black fortnight, they are called as 1 month, 1 masa or 1 masam. And this is equal to 1 day and night for the Pitrus, Aharnisham. The Pitas who are staying in the moon planet, for them, our 2 pakshas, our 2 fortnights is equal to their full day. 1 fortnight is equal to daytime for them, 1 fortnight is equal to night time for them. So this is the day and night for the Pitrus in the moon planet. And 4 praharas or 4 yamas is our daytime, another 4 praharas or 4 yamas is our night time for human beings. And 2 such months combined together is called 1 rutu or 1 season. and 6 such months combined together are called one ayana. And there are 2 ayanas in 1 year. The one is Dakshinayana, starting from Makara Sankranti, which generally happens in the month of January and 14th or 15th, all the way up to Karaka Sankranti, which generally happens in July 16th. So January 15th to July 16th is called Uttarayana, and July 17th to January 14th is called Dakshinayana. Like that, there are 2 movements of sun from north to south or south to south north. South to north is called Uttarayana, north to south is called Dakshinayana. So such 2 such movements, Dakshina and Uttarayana, are called as one day and night for the Devatas, Divi Ahoratra. So 2 ayanas make daytime and nighttime for the Devatas. Exactly, not Uttarayana is not the daytime or Dakshina is not the nighttime. Instead, from April to October, April 14th to October 15th, it is daytime for the Devatas, and October 16th to April 14th is the nighttime for the Devatas. So in that way we have to take. Even in either case, our 6 months is equal to daytime for the Devatas. Our 6 months, another 6 months is equal to nighttime for the Devatas. So our 15 days is equal to daytime for the Pitrus. Another 15 days is equal to nighttime for the Pitrus. Similarly, our 6 months is equal to daytime for the Devatas in the Sargaloka, and that is from April to October. Mid of April to mid of October is their daytime, and mid of October to mid of April it will be their night time. So like that, night time for the Devatas. So that is called 2 solar movement or 2 ayanas, Uttarayana Dakshina combined together is called one calendar year. That is one day and night for the Devatas. 100 such years is the duration of human life in Kali Yuga. Our one full lifetime is equal to 100 days for the Devatas. Our 100 years is nothing but 100 days for the Devatas. So like this, all details were mentioned by Maitreya to Vidura. So at this point of time, in verse number 16, Vidura asks a question. Vidura uvacha Petrudeva Manushanam Ayu Param Idam Smritam Pareshan Gatima Chakshva Eshu Kalpad Bahirvidu. So Ayu Param Idam Smritam. In relation to 100 years of human lifespan, the lifespan, the time periods of Devatas and Pitrus have been described. Our 15 days will be daytime for Pitrus, other 15 days will be nighttime for Pitrus. Like that, our 1 full month is there, 1 full day. Our 6 months is daytime for the Devatas, our 6 months is nighttime for the Devatas. Like that, our full 1 year is equal to 1 day for the Devatas. Now, like that, the Pitrus and Devatas 100 years of lifespan or whatever the lifespan can be understood. Just like human lifespan is 100 years, their lifespan also can be understood. So now we say that Paresham Gati Machakshva Yeshu Kalpat Bahir Vida. Now I would like to hear about the lifespan of those people who live more than a day of Brahma. Kalpat Bahir. Kalpa means 1 day of Brahma. So those people who live more than a day of Brahma, I want to understand about their lifespan. Can you please explain about their lifespan? And basically is asking that other higher time divisions also, may you kindly explain. Bhagavan Veda Kalasya Gadim Bhagavato Nanu Vishwam Vichakshate Dhira Yoga Radhena Chakshusha. Since you are Yoga Radhena, you are expert at performing yoga, that is Bhakti Yoga mixed with Ashtanga Yoga and Jnana Yoga, you can understand about the time lifespan of anyone else in the entire universe. Because as a human beings, at max we can see only as long as we are alive. We don't know what was happening around here before we were born, and we will not know what will happen here after our death. But a devotee with their expertise in the performance of their sadhana, by their energy and by the empowerment of the Supreme Lord, can actually understand about the lifespans of many other living entities that are there in the entire universe, who live more than human beings 100 years of lifespan. It's like that. So yoga radhyena chakshusha. Since your eyes are endowed with yoga, perfection of yoga, you can actually understand all these things. So please explain. So like that, Vidura is inspiring Maitreya. So now Maitreya is going to say, Maitreya uvacha kritam treta dvaparam cha kalischeti chaturyugam divye dvadashadbirvarshair savadanam nirupitam. So basically it says that Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. Four combined together is called Chaturyuga. And one Chaturyuga is equal to Dvadashadbir Varshair Divyair. Varshair refers to 1000. And 12 into 1000. 12,000 Devata years is equal to one Chaturyuga, which is the combination of Kruta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. All these four combined together can be called as Krita Yuga, Chaturyuga, or can also be called as one Divya Yuga. And one Divya Yuga is equal to 12,000 Devata years. And one Devata year is equal to our 360 human years. Because our one complete year is equal to their one day. And like that, they have 360 days in their year. That will be equal to our 360 years. So multiplying 12,000 with 360, we will get 43,20,000 human years. That will be equal to one Chaturyuga. So in that Chaturyuga, the ratio of Kruta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga are Chatvari, Trini, Dve, Eka. 4 times is Treta Yuga or Kruta Yuga, 3 times is Treta Yuga, 2 times is Dwapara Yuga, 1 time is Kali Yuga. So in that way, the 4 yugas have been divided. So that we can see here. One Divya Yuga, Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali all combined together is equal to 12,000 Devata years. That is equal to 4.32 million human years or 4.32 43,20,000 human years. So in the like that. So within that time period, 4 times is Krita Yuga, 3 times is Treta Yuga, 2 times is Dwapara Yuga and 1 time is Kali Yuga. So 1 time out of 10 portions of 12,000 is equal to Kali Yuga. That is 1200 is Kali Yuga, 2400 is Dwapara Yuga, 3600 will be Treta Yuga and 4800 will be Satya Yuga. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is equal to 10. If we divide this with 10, we will get the value and then accordingly we can understand that. Like that, 4 yugas have been divided. So here Prabhupada writes all the details. Satya Yuga is equal to 4,800 into 360. That is 1.728 million years. And Treta Yuga is equal to 3,600 into 360. Dwapara Yuga is equal to 2,400 into 360. Kali Yuga is equal to 1,200 into 360. So these are the number of years of Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga. Sandhya Sandamshayor Antar Yakala Shata Sankhyayo Tam Yeva Horyugam Tagna Yatra Dharmo Vidiyate. So out of these 1200 years of Kali Yuga, the first 100 years are called morning Sandhya. And the last 100 years are called as evening Sandhyamsha. And in between the 1000 years is called Yuga Kala. So morning Sandhya is about 100 years, evening Sandhya is about another 100 years, and in between 1000 years is the Yuga Kala, that is Kali Yuga. For Dwapara Yuga, morning 200 years, evening 200 years are called as morning Sandhya and evening Sandhyamsha. In between 2000 years is called Yuga Kala of Dwapara Yuga. Like that, for Treta Yuga it is 300 morning, 3000 in the middle and 300 in the evening. For Krita Yuga, 400 in the morning, 4000 in the middle and 400 in the evening. So like that they are called Sandhi time period, morning Sandhi, and in between daytime the particular Yuga period, and in the evening again evening Sandhyamsha period. So like that the 4 yugas have been described. Tam Yevahur Yugam Tagna, they are known as yugas. Yatra Dharmo Vidiyate. And in each of the yuga, the particular yuga dharma will be propagated and people follow that particular yuga dharma and attain perfection. In dhyayato kruteyat dhyayato Vishnu, in Krita Yuga the people meditate upon Lord Vishnu by performing yoga mishra bhakti. They perform bhakti only along with ashtanga yoga. Dhyayato Vishnu kruteyam dhyayato Vishnu. Tretayam yajato makai. In Treta Yuga people worship Lord Vishnu by performing yajnas. Dwaparayam paricharyayam. During Dwapara Yuga people worship the Supreme Lord by doing deity worship. Kalautad Hari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga the Yuga Dharma is Harinama Sankirtana. Like that in 4 yugas, that particular Yuga Dharma will be practiced by people in general. And other Yuga Dharmas and other the religious activities are also practiced minorly. So that is how it is being mentioned. Dharma Chatushpan Manujan, Dharma Chatushpan Manujan, Krute Samanu Vartate, Sa Evanyeshu Adharmena, Vyeti Padena Vardata. So here it says that the 4 legs of Dharma are completely full during Krita Yuga. But when Treta Yuga starts, 1/4 of these 4 legs will be reduced by the increase of Adharma. The 4 legs of Dharma which are mentioned in the first canto are Satyam, Saucham, Tapadaya. Satyam is truthfulness, Saucham is cleanliness internally within the heart and also externally with respect to the body, and Tapa, willingness to perform austerities, Daya, kindness that will be shown upon the animals. And these 4 legs are complete, are full in Krita Yuga. But because of the increase of Adharma, in Treta Yuga, all these 4 legs of Dharma are reduced by 1/4. So only 3/4 are remaining. In Dwapara Yuga, they will be reduced by another 1/4. So only half is remaining. In Kali Yuga, at the beginning of Kali Yuga, another 1/4 is reduced and it will be only 1/4 is remaining. And by the end of Kali Yuga, only 0 amount of Dharma will be remaining. So out of the 4 legs, only 0% will be remaining. Like that, when the beginning of Kali Yuga, during the beginning of Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga, the 4 legs of Dharma are completely full. By the end of Kali Yuga, the 4 legs of Dharma will become 0. So like that, Dharma gradually becomes reduced. That is being indicated here. Trilokyayuga sahasram bahir abrahmano dinam tavati eva nishatata yannimilati vishwasruk. Trilokya yuga sahasram bahir abrahmano dinam. Trilokya bahir. The lokas which are outside of 3 planetary systems, the lokas, the upper planetary systems which are above Bhuloka, Bhurloka and Sargaloka. 3 loka refers to Bhuloka, Bhurloka and Sargaloka. The 4 lokas which are known as generally Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka and Satyaloka, which are above 3 planetary systems, their daytime is equal to the daytime of Brahma. So that what is the daytime of Brahma? Yuga Sahasram. The daytime of Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka is equal to 1000 Chaturyugas. 1000 Chaturyugas is equal to the daytime in Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka and Satyaloka. So in these 4 lokas, they don't have the day and night changes just like us and like the people on the moon and like the people on the sun, people on the Swargaloka. Instead, the entire day of Brahma will be their daytime. That is equal to 1000 Chaturyugas, 1000 Divya Yugas, 1000 combinations of Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yugas. And Tavati Eva Nishatata. Same amount of time is the night of Brahma. Brahma's daytime is equal to 1000 Chaturyugas and Brahma's night time is also equal to 1000 Chaturyugas. Not only Brahma's, even that of Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka and Maharloka. The 4 lokas, the people live for the they live for the long, they will live for a long time. That's why their daytime and nighttime are being mentioned. These are the people who are above Svargaloka in that sense. निशावसान आरब्धो लोककल्पोऽनुवर्तते यावद्दिनं भगवतो मनून् भुञ्जांश्चतुर्दशा. So after the end of Brahma's night, which lasts for 1000 Chaturyugas, when the Brahma's day begins, Brahma does the creation. As we discussed in the previous chapter, that Brahma creates 14 planetary systems, and then Brahma creates the plants. Brahma also creates the animals and human beings and all the superhuman beings, the devatas and asuras and etc. etc. all those things. So Nishavasana Arabdo Lokakalpo Anuvartate. In order to manifest the activities during the daytime of Brahma, Lord Brahma creates all the living entities. And during this daytime of Brahma, which lasts for 1000 Chaturyugas, there will be 14 Manus, Chaturdasha, Manun Bunjams. The entire day of Brahma will be ruled by 14 Manus. So that is being indicated. Basically, in one day of Brahma, there will be 14 Manvantara periods. So what it means Manvantara period, we will understand later in one couple of verses later. Swam Samkalam Manurbungte Sadikam hi Eka Saptitam. So basically, all these 14 Manus and each of one will actually rule for 71 Chaturyugas. Eka Saptitam, that is 71 Chaturyugas, each Manu will rule. So we have 14 Manus and each Manu will rule for 71, little more than 71, that means. So 71 Manvantaras, 71 the Chaturyugas into 14 Manvantaras, that is equal to how much? That is equal to 71 into 14 Manvantaras is equal to 996 Chaturyugas. 71 Chaturyugas into 14 Manvantaras, that is equal to 994 Chaturyugas. And only 6 Chaturyugas are remaining for the completion of 1000 Chaturyugas. So there are 14 Manvantaras, and in between all these Manvantaras, there is a Sandhi that is called Manu Sandhi. At the very beginning, there is one Sandhi, and later on, at the end of each and every Manvantara, there is another Sandhi. Like the total, there are 15 Manvantaras, Sandhis. And each Sandhi will last for one Satyayuga. Whatever is the time period for one Satyayuga, that will be the time period of the Manu Sandhi. So one Satyayuga is equal to 4 times of Kali Yuga, that is 4800 years. So that is basically 0.4 times of one complete Chaturyuga. So we have 15 Sandhis, 15 times 0.4, that is equal to 6. So that will be equal to 6 Chaturyugas. 994 plus 6, that will be 1000 Chaturyugas. So like that.
Prabhuji, excuse me, please explain again from one Manu's time is equal to 71 Chaturyugas, and then I didn't get 994 and one Sandhi, that I didn't
No,
get.
I just multiplied.
Yeah.
One Manvantara lasts for 71 Chaturyugas. So like that, within a day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. 14 Manvantaras into 71 Chaturyugas. 14 into 71 is equal to 994 Chaturyugas. So in a day of Brahma, there are 1000 Chaturyugas. So we are less by 6 Chaturyugas. So these 6 Chaturyugas are divided into 15 Sandhis. So before every Manvantara and after every Manvantara, there is one Sandhi portion. The change from one Manvantara to other Manvantara. Like that 15 Sandhis are there. And each Sandhi is equal to one Satyayuga time period. And one Satyayuga is equal to 4 times one Chaturyuga. That is equal to 0.4 times of 0.4 of Chaturyuga. So 0.4 into 15. 15 4 ja 60. Of course 0.4 is there. So 15.4 ja 86. So the 15 Sandhis are equal to 6 Chaturyugas. So like that 994 plus 6, total 1000 Chaturyugas have been properly divided. This is to understand the total time scale of one complete day of Brahma. So in one complete day of Brahma, There are 1000 Chaturyugas and there are 15 Sandhis and 14 Manvantaras. First one Sandhi, then Manvantara, then Sandhi, Manvantara, Sandhi, Manvantara, Sandhi, Manvantara, 14th Manvantara and the Sandhi. Like that there are 15 Sandhis and 14 Manvantaras. One Sandhi is equal to 0.4 Chaturyuga and one Manvantara is equal to 71 Chaturyugas. Like that when we add all of them, that becomes 1000 Chaturyugas. That is one day of Lord Brahma. Like that the division is made. So what exactly happens during this Manvantara? Why there is the need of 14 Manvantaras? Why so much complications, all these things? So that is explained in the next verse, this verse. Manvantareshu manavas tadvamsha rushayasura bhavanti chaiva yugapat sureshas chatan. It says that during the Manvantara period, during every Manvantara period, the Manu and Sapta Rishis, Rishya refers to Sapta Rishis, Sura refers to all the Devatas, and Suresha refers to the Lord of the Devatas, that is Indra, and all others who assist them, they all will be changed. The universal government will change after every one Manvantara. And now the question is, who are all involved in that universal government, universal governance? The people who are involved in the universal governance are 6 people. The first one is Suresha, Indra. The second one is Devata, Sura. Third one is Sapta Rishis and all the other Rishis. That is third one. And the fourth one is Manu. The Manu who starts the Manvantara period. Basically, Indra, that Suresha, the king of the Devatas, will rule from heaven, and the Manu will rule from earth. Manu is the ruler of the entire Bhuloka, and Indra is the ruler of Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swargaloka, all the 3 planetary systems. And Manu himself is responsible for overlooking the maintenance of the entire Bhuloka for one Manvantara period. But he himself does not rule. He rules for some time, then he will give the responsibility to his sons. So like Swayambhu Manu ruled for some time, then he gave the responsibility to Uttanapada. Then Uttanapada gave the responsibility to Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj gave the responsibility to his son, and like that. That is called Tadvamsha. The further Vamsha, the further people who were born in that particular lineage of a Manu. So they are also part of this universal governance. So Suresha, that is Indra, and Sura, Devatas, and Rushaya, Saptarishis and all the other Rishis, and Manu, Manavas, Manus, the Manu, and Tadvamsha, the Manu's subsequent genealogy. So basically, so at the beginning of a Manu, beginning of a Manvantara period, the Manu, the Rishis, the Devatas, and Indra, they all will change. And they will stay for the entire Manvantara period. Their lifespan is equal to 71 Chaturyugas. During the Sandhi period, they have the previous people who were ruling the entire universe, basically the 3 planetary systems, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, they will all give up their bodies, they will all give up their services, and they will attain their destiny as per their destiny. And the new governance will start, consisting of 6 people. We have talked about 5 people here. The 6th person will be mentioned in the next verse. But the Manuputras are Tadvamsha. They will gradually change one after the other. So Swayambhu Manu will rule for some time. His son Uttanapada ruled for some time, and their son Dhruva Maharaj ruled for some time. Like that, one after the other. In their lineage, the people will rule for one Manvantara period completely. They gradually will change. Like that, 6 people are mentioned in this. 5 people are mentioned in this verse. The 6th person is Manvantara Avatara. During every Manu period, there will be one Manvantara Avatara, and that Manvantara Avatara will help the Manu here and the Bhuloka and Indra and the Swargaloka. so that the universal governance is going on very nicely. If there is some problem, the Manvantara Avatara will set right the things. Esha Dainandina Sargo Brahmastrailokyya Vartana Tiriyan Rupatir Devanam Sambhavo Yatra Karmabhi. So in order to overlook the well-being of all these people, and during each and every Manvantara period, and like that throughout the day of entire day of Brahma, Lord Brahma was empowered to do the creation of human animals, human beings, Pitru Devatas and other Devatas. Sambhavo Yatra Karmabhi. According to their karma, they keep taking birth, they keep changing. The Devatas will change after every Manvantara, and before that they will take birth, and after that they will die. Like that, all other beings, according to their lifespan, they take birth and die under the supervision of Brahma. So like that, every day Brahma creates all these different variety of linga, that is called Dainan Dina Sarga. This is the daily creation of Brahma. And in the daily creation of Brahma, we have 14 Manvantaras. In order to maintain during each Manvantara, we have 6 people. 5 people we have already named: Indra, Devatas, Saptarishis, Manu, and Manuputras, Sadvamsha. And the 6th person will be Manvantareshu Bhagavan, Vibhrus Satvam Samurtibhi, Manu Adibir Idam Vishwam, Avati Udita Paurusha. Avati means appears. In order to make sure that during that Manvantara period, Dharma is being protected nicely and adharmic people are punished timely, the Supreme Lord appears in the form of Manvantara Avatara. During the first Manu period, the Lord appeared as Lord Yajna. He was the Manvantara Avatara for the first Manvantara period. So currently we are going through the 7th Manvantara period. In the current day of Brahma, which will last for 1000 Chaturyugas, in which 14 Manvantaras are there, out of which 6 Manvantara periods already completed, and we are going through the 7th Manvantara period. In that 7th Manvantara period, which will last for 71 Chaturyugas, we have already passed through 27 Chaturyugas, and 28th Chaturyuga, Kali Yuga, is going on. So like that, it is all described in the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. So during this Manvantara, the 7th Manvantara, Lord Vamana appeared at the Manvantara avatar. He will take care of the protection of Dharma. He will take care of keeping things in proper order. Whenever Asuras overdo something, and he will fight with them, and he will defeat them, and he will make sure that Indra will rule the heaven and other 3 planetary systems. So Manvantara Avatara will be 6th person. So these 6 people are combined together, will stay for one Manvantara period in the ruling position, and they will look after the well-being of Bhuloka, Bhurloka, and Sargaloka. So that is what is about one Manvantara period. And so in order to explain that, so here it is mentioned that this verse talks about Esha Dainan Dina Sargo. So during every day of Brahma, at the beginning of the day, Lord Brahma creates, and during the day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, 14 Manvantara periods, and in each and every Manvantara period, the Manvantara Avatara takes care of the maintenance. And at the end of the day of Brahma, when it is time for annihilation, the same Supreme Lord expands himself as Rudra, and he destroys everything that has been created by Brahma. The destruction is mentioned in the next couple of verses. Tamo matram upadaya prati samruddha vikrama kalenanugata gata shesha aste tushnim dina atyaye. At the end of the day of Brahma, whatever that has been created by Lord Brahma at the beginning, and whatever that has been maintained by 14 Manvantaras throughout the day of Brahma, will be annihilated by Lord Shiva or Rudra. He is known as Tamo Matram Upadaya. His Upadhi is Tamo Matram. His service is that of tamas, ignorance, because it involves in destruction. Destruction needs some tamoguna. So Lord Shiva, accepting tamoguna, He will destroy everything that has been created by Lord Brahma in the beginning and maintained by the 14 Manvantaras throughout the day of Brahma. That's how in 3 verses the entire activities throughout the day of Brahma are being indicated. Creation, maintenance and annihilation. Creation at the beginning by Brahma, maintenance by 14 Manvantara throughout the day, annihilation by Rudra or Lord Shiva. Tamevanu api diyante lokabhur adayastraya nishayam manuvartayam nirmukta shashi bhaskaram. So like this, during the daytime, the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka are nicely maintained by these 6 people, the Manvantara Avatara, Indra, Devatas, Saptarishis, and also Manu, the children of Manu, they are maintaining. But during the night, everything will be destroyed, and there will be no sun and no moon. Bhaskara refers to sun and Shashi refers to moon. Nirmukta, without the presence of sun and moon, everything will be completely dark and void and null, etc. throughout the night. Throughout the night of Brahma. So how this darkness will take place? Trilokyam dayamananam shaktya sankarsanagnina yanti ushmanam maharlokat janam Bhrugu Adayordita. So here in this verse is mentioned that at the end of the day of Brahma, after the completion of 1000 Chaturyugas, Lord Sankarsana was actually holding the entire Bhuloka, above which Bhuvarloka and above which Sargaloka. He becomes very angry. He was actually looking after all of us, hoping that one day we will take up bhakti and we'll go back home back to Godhead. But seeing that people are so indifferent to the path of bhakti, so indifferent to the purpose of human life, they are simply interested in sense gratification. Like that, they are taking birth and dying, taking birth and dying, moving up and down, moving up and down. Lord Sankarsana becomes very, very, very angry. Out of that anger, in order to kill everyone who are not at all taking a bhakti, the fire comes out of his Brukuti. At some places, it said that the fire coming out of Lord Sankarsana. And some places it said that at that time, Lord Sankarsana's forehead will give birth to 11 Rudras. And the 11 Rudras will open their third eye. So from the third eye comes lot of fire. And this fire will burn Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka for 100 human years. For 100 years, there will be continuous fire and people will die. All the water will be evaporated from the surface of earth and from Bhuloka and Svargaloka, whatever water is there, everything will be evaporated during 100 years. And as all the water is evaporated, then there comes 100 years continuous rains. So that is mentioned in the next verse. But during these 100 years, when fire was emitted from the forehead of Lord Sankarsana or from the third eye of 11 Rudras, during that time, as these 3 planetary systems are getting burnt, that heat is also observed by the people of Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. And the people of Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they all will go to Satyaloka. And along with Lord Brahma, they all offer prayers to Lord Sankarsana to make him peaceful so that he will not burn. Like that, that is being indicated here. Tavatribonam sadhya kalpantadita sindava plavayanti utkatapota chandavate ritormaya. So for 100 years, the 3 planetary systems were burnt by the fire emitted from the third eye of Rudra or from the forehead of Lord Sankarsana. Same amount of time, the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka were rained and then inundated by the ocean water completely. They will lose, in a way, they will lose their existence. They are kind of destroyed completely, being submerged in the waters of the inundation. That is how Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Sargaloka will be submerged into the Garbhodaka ocean at the end of the day of Brahma by the 11 Rudras who just appeared from the forehead of Lord Sankarsana, who by opening their third eye evaporate all the water, kill all the living entities. Then that water again comes forth in the form of rain and inundates, submerges completely the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Sargaloka. So that's how it is being indicated. Antassa tasmin salile aste anantasano hare yoga nidra nimilaksha stuyamano janalaya. And as all these living entities were killed in the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka by the fire, giving up their gross bodies, all the living entities along with their subtle bodies, they all enter into Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who was actually taking rest within the waters of Garbhodaka ocean. Even Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Sargaloka were also entered into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And similarly, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka, they will also enter into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, along with all the great sages and the perfected yogis who are living in Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, headed by Lord Brahma. They also all of them also enter into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And having accepted all of them within his own abdomen, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu goes into Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra Nimilaksha. With closed eyes, he enters into Yoga Nidra, being situated within the waters of Garbhodaka ocean. So that is what happens during the night of Brahma. All the living entities who are living in the 14 band system, they all enter into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu along with Lord Brahma, and they all live, they all sleep within the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu also sleeps during the entire night of Brahma. Evam videira horatrai kalagatyopalakshitai apakshitam ivasyapi paramayu vayam satam. So like this, if you combine day and night, for the entire night which will last for 1000 Chaturyugas, all the living entities along with Brahma, they will sleep within the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. In the next day morning, the lotus comes out of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel and Lord Brahma appears. Along with Lord Brahma, all the living entities will appear eventually one after the other and they will perform activities. Like that, day after day after day, 30 days combined together is 1 month of Brahma. And 12 such months combined together is 1 year of Brahma. And 100 such years is combined to the lifetime of Brahma. So one complete lifetime of Brahma is equal to 100 years. In 100 years, there are 12 months. In 1 month, there are 30 days. In 1 day, there is 12 hours of night, 12 hours of daytime. And 12 hours of night and 12 hours of daytime are equal to 1000 Chaturyugas. So this is how the time scale is being indicated. And one Chaturyuga is equal to Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali, which is equal to 12,000 Devata years. And 12,000 Devata years is equal to 43,20,000 human years. So like that, the lifespan of Brahma has been indicated here. So we discussed that one Chaturyuga or one Divya Yuga is equal to Satya, Treta, Dwapara Yuga, which is equal to 12,000 Devata years, 43,20,000 human years. And 1 day of Brahma is equal to 1 night of Brahma, which is equal to 14 Manus of 14 Manus and Devatas will rule over. That is equal to 1000 Divya Yugas or 1000 Chaturyugas. And one Manu's life or the duration of the Manu and Devatas for which they rule is equal to 71 Divya Yugas. That is equal to 850,000 Devata years or 306.72 million human years. This much time the Devatas live and rule, being stayed in the Swarga. They stay in the Swarga for this much time period. Like that, in 1 day of Brahma or 1 night of Brahma is equal to 12 million Devata years or 4.32 billion years. Like that, one Brahma will live for 100 years, which is equal to 311.04 trillion human years or 864 billion Devata years. So this is being indicated here. This is the entire lifespan of Brahma. And this lifespan of Brahma, which is equal to 311.04 trillion years, is the greater time or Param Mahan time. So this is the greater time. That is the greater time. And atomic time is equal to 8 by 13,500 into 1 by 6. That is the smallest divisible time. And this is the total time of the birth of Brahma to the death of Brahma. 100 years of Lord Brahma. And that is equal to 1 Nimisha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord Brahma's 100 years is equal to 1 Nimisha. 1 Nimisha is nothing but the time required for the closing or opening of the eyelids. That is being indicated in relation to Lord Mahavishnu. So these are the time divisions that have been mentioned, that have been divided and understood in our Vedic literature. Yadardam ayushastasya parardam abhidhiyate purva parardo apakranto e aparo adya pravartate. So, like this, Brahma lives for 100 years according to his time. Vaya Shatam, Paramayur Vaya Shatam. The greatest of lifespan, that of a person who will live in our universe like Brahma and all his associates, they actually live for this much time. Paramayur, that is equal to 100 years according to Brahma's days and nights. So out of such 100 years, first half is already completed. Yadardam Ayusha Tasya. Out of Brahma's lifespan, the one half is called Pararda. So Brahma's 50 years is called as one Pararda. So Purva Parardo Apakranto. The first Pararda already completed. That means first 50 years of Lord Brahma's lifespan is already completed. And Aparo Adya Pravartate. The second Pararda has just started. Apakranta means is currently going on or just started. The Brahma's first Pararda already completed and second Pararda just started. That means now Brahma is 50 years old. According to his lifespan, 50 years already completed. Now the 51st year, the first month and the first day is going on. So in that way we have to see. So out of the entire lifespan of Brahma, there are 100 years. 50 years are called Pararda. The first 50 years are called Purva Pararda and second 50 years are called Para Pararda. So Purva Pararda already completed and Para Pararda is going on currently. Purvasyado Parardasya Brahmo Nama Mahanabhut Kalpo Yatra Bhavad Brahma Shabda Brahmeti Ambibhu. Basically, it says that during the Purva Pararda and during the very first day of Brahma's lifespan, during which Lord Brahma actually was born, during which Brahma actually appeared, that particular day of Brahma's lifespan, the very first day of Brahma's lifespan, is supposed to be called as Varaha Kalpa. In the second canto, 10th chapter, the 30 days of a Brahma's month have been named differently. The first day will be Varaha Kalpa, second day something else like that. The 30th day will be Pitru Kalpa. All the names are given. The very first day of every month is generally called as Varaha Kalpa. So, but the very first day of Brahma's life, because since Brahma appeared on that particular day, it was also called as Brahma Kalpa. Brahmo Nama. It is called Brahma Kalpa. It is called with the name of Brahma since Brahma appeared on that particular day. That's why it is called as Brahma Kalpa. So during the first Pararda, that is Purva Pararda, the very first day when Brahma was born, that particular day is supposed to be known as Varaha Kalpa. It is also known as Varaha Kalpa and also known as Brahma Kalpa. And whatever had happened on that particular day, we have discussed in the second canto 9th chapter. On that day when Brahma appeared, Brahma wanted to understand where from he appeared. He looked here and there, he could not understand. As he was feeling dissatisfied, then he heard two letters Ta and Pa. So hearing those two letters two times, he understood that he needed to perform tapasya. And he performed tapasya for 1000 celestial years. Then he had the darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then he offered prayers. Then he requested Garbhodakshaya Vishnu to answer some of his queries. So in order to answer Lord Brahma's 4 queries, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu spoke the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. The Chatushloki Bhagavatam was spoken during the very first day of Brahma's lifespan. That means it was spoken about 50 years of Lord Brahma's lifespan. So in that way, we have to understand. That particular day is called as Brahma Kalpa. It is known after Lord Brahma. तस्यैव चान्ते कल्पाबोत् यं पाद्मम् अभिचक्ष्यते यद् यद् अरेर्णाभि सरसा आसील्लोकासरोरुहम्. So it says that there is a multiple meanings to this verse. Sorry, Hare Krishna, I am in the class. Hare Krishna, I am in the class. I will call at 9 o'clock. నేను 9కి ఫోన్ చేస్తాను, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను. కరెక్ట్. సారీ. సో తస్య ఏవ చాంతే కల్పో అభూత్ యం పాద్మం అభిచక్షతే. దిస్ మీన్స్ on that particular day which was known as Brahma Kalpa, the very first day of Brahma, Lord Brahma, since he appeared from a lotus flower, that day can be also called as Padma Kalpa. Because Lord Brahma appeared from a lotus, it is not necessary that every day Lord Brahma has to appear from a Padma Kalpa. And it is also mentioned that Tasya eva cha ante, the day after that first day, the second day also lotus flower appeared. So the second day of Brahma is also called as Padma Kalpa. And Tasya eva ante, if you take Tasya as the first pararda, Purya Pararda, so the last day of the Purya Pararda, that means the yesterday according to Brahma's life calculations, that is also called as Padma Kalpa, because that day also Brahma appeared from the lotus flower. And Tasya ante, after the end of the first Pararda, after the completion of the first 50 years of Lord Brahma, the next day during the 51st year, the 51st year and the first month, the first day, that is today, also Lord Brahma appeared from a lotus flower. So today also called as Padma Kalpa. Today as it's supposed to be called as Shweta Varaha Kalpa. It is since Varaha appeared in the form of white boar or white Varaha. So today is called as Shweta Varaha Kalpa. Since Lord Brahma also appeared from a lotus flower, as we have discussed in the 8th chapter, like when Garbhodakshaya Vishnu looked into his abdomen, all the living entities or all the element first comes in the form of a lotus flower, and eventually Lord Brahma appears on top of that lotus flower. So today also Lord Brahma appeared from a lotus flower, and thus because of that today also can be called as Padma Kalpa. So like that, the very first day of the first year and the first month of Brahma's lifespan, and the second day, these two are also called Padma Kalpa, and the last day of the 50th year also called as Padma Kalpa, and the first day of the 51st year also called as Padma Kalpa. So this is what is explained by different acharyas. Yad harer nabi sarasa asil loka saroruham. From the navel of Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu appeared a lotus, and from that lotus appeared Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma created 14 planet systems from that lotus. Like that it is mentioned. Ayam tu katita kalpo dvitiyasyapi bharata varaha iti vikyato yatra shik shukaro hari. Ayam tu katita kalpo. The current kalpa, the current day whichever is going on according to Brahma's lifespan, dvitiyasyapi, during the second pararda, the dvitiya pararda, also called as Padma Kalpa. Api refers to also called as Padma Kalpa. And also it is supposed to be called as Varaha Kalpa, because in every month of Brahma's 1 month, the first Kalpa supposed to be called as Varaha Kalpa. But during this Varaha Kalpa, Lord appeared as white Varaha. So because of which it is called as Shweta Varaha Kalpa. and also Padmakalpa. Since Shvetavaraha appeared, it is called as Shvetavaraha Kalpa. Since Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus flower, it is also called as Padmakalpa. They are the two names which are there for the current day of Brahma. कालोऽयं द्विपरार्धाख्यो निमेषा उपचर्यते अव्याकृतस्यानन्तस्य हि अनादिर्जगद आत्मना. But this kala, which is the combination of dvipararthas, Purva Parartha and Paraparartha of Brahma, which is equal to 100 years of Lord Brahma, which is equal to 311 trillion years of human beings, it is considered to be one nimisha, or the time required for closing or opening of the eyelids of Karnodakshaya Vishnu. And that Karnodakshaya Vishnu is called as Avyakrita Anantasya. He is that personality who does not go through any changes, for whom the changes in time does not applicable. So even starting from a blade of grass all the way up to Brahma, we can actually see our existence in terms of the time scale. Everyone live, everyone will have day and nights, everyone will have months, everyone will have years, everyone will have certain lifespan. All of us, all of our existence can be counted in terms of number of days or months or years. But for Lord Karnodakshaya Vishnu, such kind of division does not applicable, because he is Avyakrita, he is beyond the limits of time divisions, because he is Anantasya, he is unlimited, he is Anadir, he has no beginning, he is the source of everything that has beginning and ending, and Jagad Atmana is the soul of the entire material creation, is the soul of the entire material manifestation. So that Lord, so the entire lifespan of Brahma is equal to one nimisha of that Lord. So that is being mentioned here. So that is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. Yasyaika nishvatita kala matavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnur mahan sahyayasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yasyaika nishvatita kala matavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata. Jagadandanata is Brahma. Along with Brahma, all the universe and all the living entities were appeared from the skin pores of Mahavishnu. Mahan Vishnu refers to Mahavishnu. As soon as it breathes out, Nishvasita, all the Brahmandas and all the Brahmas have their lifespan which is equal to one Nishvasa of Lord Mahavishnu. As soon as he breathes out, the Brahmas appear, the universe appear, and all the living entities appear, they perform all the activities. As soon as he breathes in, everything will be annihilated. The time of Lord Brahma's lifespan of 100 years is equal to one breathing of Mahavishnu. That is also equal to one opening and closing of eyelids of Mahavishnu. That is equal to one nimisha according to Mahavishnu, which is mentioned in the verse. Nimesha upacharyate. That is one nimisha of the Mahavishnu, or one breathing of Mahavishnu. Kaloyam paramanadir dviparardanta ishvara naivechitum praburdho bhumna ishvaro damaninam. Kalo ayam paramanu adir dviparardanta ishvara. So these are the divisions of the time, starting with paramanu time, ending with dviparardha time, are the 250 years of Lord Brahma's lifespan. These are the smallest possible time division to the biggest possible time division. And this time division does not applicable to Ishvara. Ishvara na iveshutam prabhur bhumna Ishvaro dama manana. These time divisions cannot be applicable to Lord Mahavishnu. He is beyond the calculations of time, etc. etc. Even though time controls every living entity all the way up to Brahma, who is living in Satyaloka, but time cannot control. Time has no supervision or no control over Mahavishnu. That is indicated. So that's how The time is applicable to all the living entities, but not to Mahavishnu. Or his expansion Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, or his expansion Kshidakshaya Vishnu. They are all eternal. They are all the lords of the entire material manifestation. So having spoken about the time divisions in relation to matter, the Paramanu matter and Paramahanu matter, etc. Having completed that, now we decided that the Brahma's lifespan, which is of 2 Parardhars or which is of 100 years, is equal to 1 breathing time of Mahavishnu or 1 closing or opening of eyelid of Mahavishnu. And having mentioned that the matter in relation to Mahavishnu, the time in relation to Mahavishnu has been mentioned. 1 closing of eyelid or 1 breathing is equal to 1 lifespan of Brahma. And the size of Mahavishnu in relation to all these universes, all the Brahmandas, is being mentioned in the next 2 verses. Vaikarai sahito yukter visheshadibir avrita andakosho bahirayam panchashat koti vistara. Vaikara sahito yukter visheshadibir avruta andakosho bahir ayam. The 24 elements which are generally appeared in the form of Vaikara refers to the 16 transformations, starting with Sahito Yukter, starting with the 8 elements. 16 plus 8 is equal to 24 elements. All put together is called 24 elements. The 16 transformations are the 10 senses, the 5 tanmatras, the 5 sense objects, and the mind. The 10 senses, the mind, and also includes the when 10 senses are being mentioned. Okay, the 10 senses, mind, and 5 sense objects. All together 16. 16 are called Vaikarai, that 16 transformations. From where? The 8 elements. The 8 elements are earth, water, fire, air, ether, and Ahankara and Mahatattva. Mahatattva already also includes intelligence. Mahatattva, intelligence, Ahankara, and 5 Panchamahabhutas. Mahatattva and intelligence are combined to the 1 element, and Pradhana. Along with Pradhana, the 8 elements will transform in the form of the 16 transformations. All combined together are 24 elements. The Visheshadbir. And these 24 elements will be transformed in the form of Brahmanda, consisting of 7 layers. Andakosho Bahirayam. The universal egg. Andakosha refers to the universal egg consisting of 7 layers. And those 7 layers are having an internal diameter of Panchashat Koti Vistara. The internal diameter of the first layer is equal to 500 million yojanas, or 50 crore. Panchashat Koti means, Panchashat means equal to 50. 50 crore yojanas is the internal diameter of our universe. And our universe is covered by 7 layers made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, Ahankara, and Mahatattva. These are the 7 layers which are covering our universe. And the diameter of our universe is Panchashat Koti. That is 50 crore yojanas or 500 million yojanas. And 1 yojana is equal to 8 miles. 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers. That is 1 yojana is approximately 13 kilometers. 13 times 50 crore yojanas is the diameter of our universe. As per Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11, verse number 40. This is the diameter of our universe, and which is surrounded by 7 layers. What are the 7 layers? Dashottarādhikāiryatra pravishta paramanuvat lakshate antargataschanye kotishu andarashaya. And these 7 layers made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, Ahankara, and Mahatattva is 10 times thicker than the previous layer. So the diameter of the universe is 50 crore yojanas or 500 million yojanas. The width of the first layer is said to be twice. That will be 100 crore yojanas. And the water layer will be 1000 crore yojanas. The fire layer will be 10,000. Then 100,000. 1,000, 10,000, like that 10 times other layers are increasing. And combined together with all the 7 layers, all the Brahmandas appears to be like Paramanu in relation to Karanodakashaya Vishnu or in relation to Mahavishnu. In relation to Mahavishnu, all these unlimited variety of Brahmandas, they all appear as Paramanus. Like that, Koti Shivi under Ashayo. Like our universe, our universe which whose diameter is around 500 million yojanas or 50 crore yojanas. Like that, there are crores of underashis, crores of Brahmandas. They are all situated around the body of Mahavishnu. They are said to be situated in the skin pores of Mahavishnu like that because they are like Paramanus and they can be situated within the skin pores of Mahavishnu. Even within our skin pores are very small. We cannot understand. If we see in the lens microscope, we can see the skin pore. Like that, one universe is situated in one skin pore of Mahavishnu. That is to explain the comparison. The size of our universe consisting of 7 layers and which is covering our universe whose diameter is around 500 million yojanas, wherein one yojana is equal to 13 kilometers. That will be like a Paramanu that can be situated within that can be placed very nicely within the skin pore of Mahavishnu. That is the size of Mahavishnu in relation to our universe. So the greatness of Mahavishnu is mentioned in relation to time span, in relation to size also. Tad ahur aksharam brahma sarvakarana karanam Vishnurdama param sakshat Purushasya Mahatmana. That personality, that Mahavishnu is also called as Aksharam, is also called as Parabrahma, is also called as Sarvakarana Karanam, is also called as Vishnu, is also called as Parandama, is also called as Purusha, Sakshat Purusha, is also called as Mahatma, the great personality, or Mahapurusha. So these are the various attributes that are given to Mahavishnu, whose bodily size is as big as so that the entire universe consisting of 7 layers, each 10 times thicker than the previous layer, and the universe size is about 500 million yojanas. The entire thing fits as a Paramanu within the skin pores of that Mahavishnu. And the entire lifespan of one Brahma, living with one Brahmanda, is equal to 1 Nimisha, or closing or opening of the eyelid of Mahavishnu, or breathing out to breathing in. So, in that way, the greatness of Mahavishnu is being established. Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Here, this Mahavishnu is the cause of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of all the crores of universes that are there in our material creation. So, this is about the divisions, the calculation of time from the atomic time to greater time. This is being described in the chapter 11 of third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 3. So, in the next week, we will discuss from chapter 12. Having discussed about the time scales, now the further details about the creation of by Brahma will be described. So, the total creation are divided into 3 divisions because Mahamaya has 3 divisions. First one is Pradhana, the second one is Avidya, and third one is Vidya. The Pradhana manifests in the form of 24 elements. By their combination, there appeared unlimited number of Brahmandas, and within that, from the navel of Brahma, Lord Garbhodakasha Vishnu appeared a lotus flower consisting of the 24 elements. From that, there appeared 14 planetary systems. These are all manifestation of Pradhana. And from the same Pradhana appears, just like the universal body appeared, and our individual bodies also will appear. But the second component of Maya Devi, that was Avidya. So by that Avidya, the 4 variety of identities will manifest for all the living entities in the entire universe. The first identity is that of animals. Because of Avidya, the living entities identify themselves to be animals, themselves to be the plants. The first category is plants, the second category is animals, third category is human beings, and the fourth category is all the variety of superhuman beings, the Devatas, Asuras, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, Vidyadharas, Pitrus, Sadhyas, and also Bhuta, Preta, Pichashas, Yakshas, and Rakshasas. All these identities are due to Avidya Shakti of Maya Devi, Avidya potency. And in the 12th chapter, in the beginning verses, we will discuss how Vidya manifested in the form of 4 Kumaras and all the Manasa Putras, all the great sages, and also Narada Muni. They are all manifestation of Vidya, and they have all appeared with a particular purpose. If we follow them, we will attain the destruction of Avidya, the destruction of our false identity, and we will become qualified to go back home back to Godhead. And that we will discuss very briefly in the next week, the next Tuesday from 7:30 to 9. So we'll try to cover the entire 12th chapter summarily in the next class. And the week after that, I will be out of town, and Nimay Chandru will continue from chapter 13 onwards. His Grace Nimay Chandru will continue. And the 4th week, His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu will take. I'll be away for next couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks. Then when I'm back, and we will see. Myself or Nimay Chandru will continue in the future chapters. So since chapter number 5 to 12, these are all still technical, and they are all involved in the creation subject matter. So we have been discussing for many weeks and many months continuously. So thank you very much. For today, we'll stop here, and we have few more minutes time. If some devotees have some queries or some doubts or want to share something, you can ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I don't have any query, but I'm awestruck. Means how so many Brahmandas whose internal diameter is 50 crore yojana and such come together, cluster together. It's only one. It's like Parmanu for Karunodakashai Vishnu. So how means it's very difficult to understand actually Krishna. Really, it's I'm awestruck actually. Really.
It is very simple to understand that we have to understand that we are insignificant. So many times we may feel that oh, I am great, I am this, I am that. But in comparison to Mahavishnu, the 100 years of lifespan of Brahma is equal to one closing or opening of
that is true, I know.
eyelid. And that size of the entire universe consisting of 7 layers covering our universe, whose size is about 500 million yojanas, each layer is about 10 times thicker subsequently. That all is like a small Paramanu situated within the skin pore of Mahavishnu. And that Mahavishnu is an Amsha of Lord Krishna. And try to understand the greatness of Lord Krishna and Lord Mahavishnu. So that is the subject matter of the initial cantos. So when we go through these initial cantos, we understand the greatness of Lord Krishna. Then we can appreciate Lord Krishna's sweet pastimes that are mentioned in the 10th canto.
That's why we should study all these 9 chapters first, 9 cantos first, and then go to 10. Really.
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, just wanted to understand. Bhagwan went through all to make all this entire complicated creation so vast and so complicated, just so that we can go back to him again. This entire complexity of things.
The objective of creation is not to take us back to Godhead, but the objective is that we were so adamant that we did not want to serve the Lord. So he had created a separate facility.
Correct. So he did just so that we can be here, and then, oh God.
Yes.
It is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, and one more question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Now that you explained everything about Brahmaji, of course I did not understand everything, but whatever I understood, it is immediately after Bhagwan, it is Brahmaji, right? So agar Brahmaji also, you said that after his period of time, there will be new Brahmaji. So wahan se bhi you can get demoted, even if you reach to that level. So how will we get back to Godhead then?
Mahajano yena gatasya panta, following the path followed by the great Mahajanas. And Lord Brahma is also one of the Mahajana. So we need to, and that's what we discussed. You remember in the 9th chapter, I mentioned at the beginning of the 9th chapter, if you remember, these are the prayers offered by Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is going to talk about the various sadhanas. He's
Yes.
kind of laying path back home back to Godhead. So we need to follow the instructions given by all these great Mahajanas. We need to follow the way they followed back to Godhead. We need to hear and understand how the previous acharyas lived their life and went back to Godhead. By following in their footsteps, we can also go back to Godhead.
Okay, Prabhuji. My God. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Any other queries from any other devotees? Or it's too technical that you could not follow or understand?
Haribol, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. I think there are no queries from any devotees. Yeah. Prabhuji, wishing you very happy Diwali. And Prabhuji, if you are going to your home